The Nobody is the first graphic novel by Eisner-nominated cartoonist Jeff Lemire that was published by Vertigo Comics, an imprint of DC Comics. It is a story inspired by the H.G.Wells novel The Invisible Man and recasts the iconic bandaged stranger as a modern-day drifter. His presence in a small-town American fishing village creates a frenzy that unwraps and exposes the scarred underside of their own secrets. Synopsis. In 1994, the mysterious drifter John Griffin enters the small town of Largemouth. As he walks through town, the passing townsfolk are shocked and somewhat disturbed by Griffin's appearance, as he is wrapped head to toe in bandages and wears pitch-black goggles over his eyes. He eventually reaches the local motel and requests a room, his appearance scaring the innkeeper June. A few days later, June tells other locals at Big Greg's diner of her encounter with Griffin, but is only met with skepticism. Reg, owner of the diner, and Teddy Henfrey, another local, try to rationalize with her that Griffin can't be as bad as she claims, although she tries to explain that Griffin's secretive nature is very suspicious. Characters: Victoria, Vicky, the narrator of the story and only friend of John Griffin. John Griffin, the main protagonist, resembles The Invisible Man by H.G.Wells. Griffin is a mysterious scientist who claims that he was once a university professor in Chicago before suffering an accident, although many of the townsfolk believes he is not who he claims. Reggie, Vicky's father and owner of the local diner Big Greg's, who is one of few people who is sympathetic towards Griffin. Mrs. Junjak, innkeeper of the motel where Griffin stays. Teddy Henfrey, a paranoid old man who is highly suspicious of Griffin and often tries to convince the townsfolk that Griffin is hiding something they don't want to see. Bill, bartender at King's Tavern who is suspicious of Griffin. Millie Jeffers, a waitress at King's Tavern who later goes missing. Jack Jeffers, Millie's husband, Mr. Tommy Marvel, an old man by the lake and owner of Howie. Griffin meets Marvel by the lake while on a late-night stroll and the two strike up a friendly conversation with each other until Marvel's dog attacks Griffin, prompting him to flee. Howie, Tommy Marvel's dog who attacks Griffin. Deputy Ide, a lawman who ignores Teddy's outrageous claims against John Griffin. John Kemp, Griffin's partner in Chicago and a minor antagonist of the story. The lady in Griffin's visions. Anna, Vicky's alibi friend who she uses as an excuse to see Griffin. Allusions to The Invisible Man. Both invisible men stayed at an inn in a small town. Both invisible men stirred curiosity and fear within the inhabitants of the town. The Invisible Man was only known as Griffin, while the main character in The Nobody was named John Griffin. Dr. Kemp in The Invisible Man was the partner to Griffin. The Nobody has a John Kemp serving a similar role. In The Invisible Man, the law enforcer's name was Colonel Arduran. In The Nobody, he was simply Deputy Ide. Both books have a Mr. Marvel. Both serve different purposes. Both invisible men are shot to flee badly injured. Both invisible men violently beat their Kemp and a police officer. The invisibility wears out when the person who is invisible dies.